Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Cyberpunk Edge Runners episode 1 review. So this is a sci-fi based animation set in the far future, right? We've got our main character David. We get a full background story of this kid. Seems like this kid comes from a rough background, right? He's from a single parent household. It's just him and his mother down on their luck, and the overarching theme is that they're struggling financially, right? As we're gonna get to see in a couple of scenes around this entire episode. So the first scene we get in this episode is we've got a police officer at a crime scene, and the one thing that was well realized about this future is how technology would evolve in this time, right? So there's usually like this danger tape that this yellow tape that police would put around any scene, right? And in this future they've got it, but it's in the form of a hologram, right? And then from the onset we get this big buff guy. He's got on some shades, and this guy approaches the police officer, and the police officer says to him, what the hell is going on? And dude, straight up they blows up the brain of this officer, right? And this is when I was like, yep, we're on to something with this episode, right? So this whole barrage of officers come through. They try to, kill this guy. They're shooting at him. I mean, but this dude, dog, is just wiping the floor with these guys. I mean, the bullets they're even using don't seem to be able to penetrate this guy's skin, right? This guy, he doesn't even, look human. The more this scene plays out, this guy is starting to look like a damn robot. I mean, he's got like artificial still limbs coming out of him, from his back, the way he's using his gun. And there's even this cool shot where this guy is even able to move so fast that he goes behind these officers, blows their heads out, and even manages to reload his gun before these guys can even react, right? So it was a bit emblematic. So fortunately, like a better class of officers comes through, right? So this would be the special forces of the officers. They do manage to take this guy down. Now something very interesting, as soon as they shoot down this big buff guy, is that David, our main character, wakes up. It looks like he had been engaged in a realistic video game. So I'm not quite sure if David is aware that this is an entire video game, or if this was, he might think it's a video game, but it's actually playing out in real life, right? Because as the episode unfolds, we get to see like on the news a scene that looks similar to how his game looked, right? So I don't know as well if this was an actual scene, or this was just in a video game. Now the realization I get is that in this future, people sort of have like a USB port, right, below their ear, so they can plug into a virtual world, or they can plug in chips in their heads which simulate like a real life environment, right? So you can imagine the possibility. So this would be like a advanced version of Elon Musk's Neuralink, right? And a very advanced version, right? Which goes to build the world building, in this future. One of the other cool things that I loved about this world is how schooling is done, right? So David goes to school in one of the scenes, and it's a whole class of his classmates, and they interlink into like the virtual world where they do some meditation. I mean, think about the cool applications. Imagine teaching history. You could actually teleport some of the students to history, and even the engagement, bro. If you're able to tap into actual reality, or virtual reality, the engagement that you would get from like students, I can imagine, is pretty high, right? Also, another thing, even think about teaching subjects such as physics, right? You could have like a beautiful simulation where you can better illustrate some concepts to students. So overall, a cool world that I'm seeing thus far, right? And the other thing about David being poor, bro, in one of the scenes we see him and his mother get involved in an accident, right? And because they are of lower class, they don't get any help, right? And this is so true. I mean, think about even in our current world, how many people are by virtue of being poor, right, the kind of treatment that poor people get, right? Just being exposed to abuse, discrimination, and so forth. And you can even imagine the mental toll that being poor takes on other kids, right? Think about, the poor kid in your school, or when you used to go to school, there was that one poor kid, some of the issues they used to struggle with, right? Another thing that I loved about this episode is how, you can actually put a chip of information and actually apply it, right? Think about one of the guys that was bullying David, right? I mean, this dude was able to put in a chip of martial arts and was actually able to, act it out and actually beat David down. Okay, we don't condone the actual bullying. I'm just saying it's cool that you can actually, put information in you and actually apply it, right? And then, I mean, as for David, man, it was quite a sad background story. I mean, this dude loses his mother in this episode, and he's not even able to mourn her because, he was getting bullied, the rent is due, he can't even pay for the morgue or, his related expenses, right? But yeah, overall, I think we're off to a good start. I think I might have been sleeping on this one. I can't wait to see how this unfolds. I hope it's as good or maybe comes close to Arcane, right, which is another anime style show that was produced by Netflix. That's it for the review. If you guys like the video, please leave a like. Please leave a comment and let me know what you enjoyed about this episode, and consider subscribing to the channel. I'll check you guys next time.